approaching. Does the school holiday price hike put you off taking a last-minute break with the children? If it does, then you are not alone. New figures show that the number of parents prosecuted last year for allowing their children to miss school and head off on holiday has risen by 25%, with an incredible 17,000 parents facing charges.
Well, joining us now is Nairi Clark, who believes it is her right to take her children out of school for a family holiday when she sees fit. And with very different opinions, Sally Jones, who thinks that the rules are there for a reason. We also have campaigner Karen Wilkinson on Skype, and welcome to all of you. Thank you for being here today. Nairi, let's begin with you. First of all, why can't you take time off like everybody else and in the correct times?
Because I'm a pet sitter and my job involves me caring when other people are on holiday. So obviously in my situation I can't take time off.
But you obviously understand that the rules are there for a reason, and the reason why children go to school is to get an education, and it's better for them. So
yeah, I think it's down to the fact that it hasn't affected my children's education. They've done really well in the SATs. We've always had this rule and allowance in the past. It was aimed at parents that took the children out over long periods of time, not families.
You believe you're being punished twice because you're self-employed?
Yes.
In what way?
Well, obviously, when I take time off work, I'm not earning an income, and then I'm getting hit with £240 fine for wanting to be with my children.
And how did you feel when you got that fine this time?
Well, you're angry because you feel as though you're being prosecuted for something that you feel like you're not doing wrong. I work 50 weeks a year, 7 days a week, and I want to spend time with my children. We go on holiday, we do stuff, we do educational stuff, we do an essay on a pirate. So they're still getting that experience and the cultural experience of wherever they're going.
Well, the council that issued the fixed penalty notice say we follow strict government regulations on penalty notices, which means head teachers should not grant approval for any leave of absence during term time unless there are exceptional circumstances. Do you believe you have exceptional circumstances?
Yeah, because it was allowed the previous year. It's not allowed this year, and different councils have different rules. Where there's a council in England, you're allowed 9 unauthorised absences, and when you hit the 10th you're fined. But in our council area, you're not allowed even one. So it should be the same rules.
And your opinion?
I absolutely think that that's totally wrong. There are acres and acres of holidays. There are many of us that are freelancers, not just somebody who's a dog sitter or a pet sitter. I think it's incredibly unfair, both on the children themselves, because, I mean, kids deserve as much education as they can get, and to be part of a sort of continuous classroom experience. I don't think it's fair on the teachers either. They're trying to have a full class taking part in everything that's going on. If you suddenly get half the kids taken out for a couple of weeks, end of May, you know, mid-September, just because either somebody has got to work over the holidays, which we mostly do have, the rest of us manage to arrange our holidays around when the children are away.
What if it affects your work? What if it affects the fact that you it's your absolute busiest time, it's when you make your most money, it's just not convenient.
But it affects all our work. I mean, I'm a freelance, and a lot of my best work would come in the summer, but I wouldn't dream of not going on the family holiday and trying to get things together.
You've almost gone one step further with this, because you think it's a certain type of parent that tries to bend the rules, don't you?
Not in every case, but I do think that the sort of parents who aren't quite so bothered about their children's education are the ones, in general, I'm sure that you're an exception to this, but in general, I think it's the people who are less punctilious, who are less pushy, who are not the ones who are already giving their children a bit of a head start by really taking the trouble with them. I think it's the ones who are a bit careless, actually.
Let me go a little further on that point, because these are the words you said to our team. Sorry to sound classist, but this is usually the rougher, more ignorant and less punctilious parents who chose to try.
I think that's absolutely right. I do. I mean, obviously, you get some very rich people who say, well, we can simply make it up with tutoring if we take the kids away. But I think the people that are absolutely itching to have a really good fight with the educational authorities or have some row with the school, which they're probably already on bad terms with, I think it's those people who very often get it. I don't think so at all.
Just to interrupt, have you got children yourself?
I have got children.
Did they go into the government school education, or were they privately schooled?
Some of the part of the time they were privately schooled.
Yeah, the privately schooled, from people that I've spoken to, the private schools, the parents don't get fined. It is the government school parents that are getting fined.
Because you didn't actually take your children out during
when my kids were about 5 and 7, they had the chance of a holiday.
Were you ignorant for doing that?
What I did was actually ask the school first and said they have the chance of a highly educational trip in the Caribbean where they will be doing homework.
We've all had
highly educational part of going to the British Virgin Islands?
They were actually writing essays, they were doing pictures, they were...
And what?
Exactly what your point
We went to Ireland and wrote an essay on the original pirates that came to Ireland. We went to Barcelona, we looked at the culture. They had to do a A3 project on what they learnt about the holiday. We're not neglecting their education.
You're ignorant, but I am saying that
This is the reality of the situation.
I had actually checked with the school to see if it would be all right for them to have
the children did project.
But your school would actually tell you that you'd be fine, didn't they?
We are fine for everything. We are not allowed to take our children out. They're not allowed to go to a funeral. Lots of parents aren't allowed to take the children out to go to a family wedding. There's a case that came through.
I think that's very sad not to go to a funeral.
Karen, you are campaigning for a change. You've thrown your weight behind the case of Mr. Noah Myers, who says that his rights are infringed, his civil liberties under the Human Rights Act are infringed by this. So this is a test case in court. What do you say to what you've heard?
I think that viewers will draw their own conclusions from Sally's views. I think that one of the things that is really important to know that is the Department for Education's own evidence on this. So they looked at the link between attainment and attendance, and they said, and I quote here, "The proportions of pupils achieving the expected levels stay relatively similar for increasing levels of absence due to authorised family holidays, religious observance and study leave. However, long-term absences due to exclusions or illnesses tend to be associated with significantly lower proportions of pupils achieving this level." So there is actually no evidence whatsoever, and in fact evidence to the contrary, from one headmaster in Reading, that actually children who go on term-time holidays suffer at all in terms of academic achievement. But what we're missing here is the fact that a lot of people don't have any choice about when they take their holiday. I mean, Stuart Sutherland and his wife were fined £1,000 for going on the holiday at the time when that's the only time he was allowed by his employer. You know, and the police have said this is ridiculous because police, again, are rotated about when they take their holidays. And so the government is effectively denying people family time together, which we think is not right. And with no circumstance,
What about
3 days...
Can I ask you, what about when pupils get to the age where they're in GCSE years or A-level years? Because obviously families still want to go away on holiday, they still want to spend that time together, but those are incredibly important time in a child's education.
Yeah, I think it's really important as well to mention that what we're not saying here what we want is a free-for-all. All we're saying is, can we please go back to the situation before September 2013, where head teachers had the discretion to allow up to 10 days absence, and that at the time on the government statistics led to 0.1% of school sessions being missed for reasons of family authorised.
Doesn't that make it very difficult for a head teacher who then has to either agree to or decline permission for specific children, and then the parents will say, well, that's unfair because you let them go, why can't I go?
Well, I mean, it's a difficult situation anyway. You've got a situation at the minute where you've got head teachers, you know, classic example, a child who is about to go in for surgery, a 13-year-old that might have left her wheelchair bound for the rest of her life, and her grandmother wanted to take her off for a week's holiday before she did that, and the school said no. Now, what head teacher wants to be in that position where they're having to say no to that, or no to going off to your grandfather's memorial service, or no for respite care for young carers, or for children with disabilities? I mean, the teachers, head teachers are having to make some really insidious decisions at the minute, all in the name of Ofsted targets driven by the government, and I kid you not, there is no evidence base for this policy.
Okay, thank you for that. I just want to finish on this point, and it seems that Eveswell Primary School in Newport in South Wales have just used their heads. They've got 5 days, the inset days when they could be spread out through the year. They've taken all 5 during 1 week in June next year. So everyone can get all the teachers get their training, and they get a chance to go on holiday.
Seems like a
That's
great
sensible.
idea.
I mean, that's brilliant. People have just got to use their initiative and discretion, haven't they? I mean, it's a pity to have it absolutely imposed, but I do think that there's quite a lot of fairly sort of frivolous taking of holidays.
But going with that rule, like I say, there will be people that are staying at home, working, your nurses, your doctors, people that cannot get that time off by their employers for that week. So it works in principle, but not across the
Not for
board.
everybody.
All right,
Okay,
thank you.
both.
Thank you very
Gonna have
much
to leave it
indeed.
there. Thank
Interesting
you.
debate. Still to come, obviously we'd love your